This week we are doing The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. How's your Greek?
Alex.
All right, Alex. My name is Jamie Livingston.
And I'm Sarah Lyles, and we are so approachable.
So this book is an exciting one, and this one was actually listener recommended?
Yeah, twice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely. All right, so tell me the first listener recommendation.
Okay, The Silent Patient has all the makings of a great book with the added benefit of having difficult to foretell moments for even the most clever readers. That came from Danny Beth.
All right, and I have from Melissa, The Silent Patient is one I recommend regularly because it is a pretty fast read that kept my attention from beginning to end. Towards the beginning, middle, and end, I would say, wait, what? What just happened? This is how I felt as a reader and hope others enjoy this book as much as I did.
All right, so lots of twists and turns and hopefully hard to predict outcomes.
Yeah.
We'll see. So this is from the back of the book. Alicia Berenson's life is seemingly perfect. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer. She lives in a grand house with big windows overlooking a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from a fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word.
Alicia's refusal to talk or give any kind of explanation turns a domestic tragedy into something far grander, a mystery that captures the public imagination and casts Alicia into notoriety. The price of her art skyrockets, and she, the silent patient, is hidden away from the tabloids and spotlight at the Grove, a secure forensic unit in North London.
Theo Faber is a criminal psychotherapist who has waited a long time for the opportunity to work with Alicia. His determination to get her to talk and unravel the mystery of why she shot her husband takes him down a twisting path into his own motivations, a search for the truth that threatens to consume him.
The Silent Patient is a shocking psychological thriller of a woman's act of violence against her husband, and the therapist obsessed with uncovering her motive.
It's been joked that all of our books so far have involved like a wife killing a husband. So this is just another one where we've got a violent woman. So
well, and I mean, how many of our books have been written? I mean, I'm excited about a male author.
That's true.
And so a different perspective. I mean, I like that it's a male writing this. So, you know.
An interesting... Well, let's learn about Alex, since I'm not going to say his last name again. He was born and raised in Cyprus, so he is very Mediterranean. He has a degree in English literature from Trinity College, Cambridge, and another one in screenwriting from the American Film Institute in L.A., and he lives in London.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. All right, some fun facts about him. The Silent Patient was his first novel and was the biggest selling debut in the world.
Whoa.
In 2019. It spent more than a year on the New York Times bestseller list and sold in a record-breaking 49 countries.
That's intense. I'm surprised that I haven't seen this one. I'm not surprised that I didn't pick it up because psychological thriller, like just that title is intimidating to me because I'm a scaredy cat, which we talked about with The Housemaid. I don't like being inside the head of psychopaths, but you know what?
I'm actually excited to see that you read this book and maybe late at night texting me like, I can't read this anymore because I can't sleep at night.
Yeah, I mean, that could very well happen. So I got you out of your comfort zone with some YA, and you're getting me out of my comfort zone with psychological thrillers.
Yes, but now our listeners are helping me.
Right. Okay, so this one, it looks like there could be a movie for this. The rights were sold. And it's set to be directed by Joe Wright, and he is best known for his work on Pride and Prejudice and Atonement. Side note, Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorites. All-time guilty pleasure. I actually watched it last night. That's how much I love this. My sister and I would watch every version of Pride and Prejudice. So I love the movies. I remember having to read the book as a kid, but the movies have my heart. Atonement, my second side note, hated. Absolutely hated. So if anybody else, if that's one of your movies that you you can commiserate with me on that one. I am so mad that I wasted time on that movie. But the director who did that movie is going to be the one doing this movie. So maybe it'll be better.
Well, and not to like, I'm sure Pride and Prejudice is like up there with most people. And I'm like, they're mid. I'll use a like current term. They're like mid. They're all right. They're okay.
It's all right. You're up with the lingo with all the kids.
So it's just one of those things. I will say, although this was his first novel, he has come out with 2 other novels. So this one does have like a 4.17 average rating, but his most recent, The Maidens and The Fury, they're up there, but they're not high, like 3.6 on both of them.
I will say it seems like he's sticking with the Greek theme.
Yeah, it does.
The Maidens cover is a statue that looks very Grecian, and The Fury sounds like The Furies, which is a very Greek
that's
as well.
the evil eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see?
That's terrifying. I don't know what that is. I stay away from that.
Well, it's like, have you ever seen like necklaces or bracelets that have that evil eye on them? That blue evil eye? That's what that
That
is.
explains so much about those people. Oh, one other thing. It says that the screenplay for the movie will be written by the author himself, because we said he has a degree in film making, screenwriting. So that's cool that it will actually come from the author.
Yeah, I always think it's better to come from the author because no one else can understand what you're writing and truly captivate it like the author.
But not all authors understand video.
Well, filmmaking.
So it is very different. So I say I have high expectations for this movie, perhaps.
It could be low budget for all we know.
Right. So we said it has a 4.17 rating overall. For the ratings that we came up with, we already read a couple from our listeners. So now I found a 5-star from Holly B. She said, "Wow, I am still reeling from that ending. A mind-blowing, to die for twist. A fast read that kept me intrigued from beginning to end, although the shocker came at the end. Wait, what just happened? This was how I felt as I read the last few chapters."
Well, that sounds interesting. And then I also found a 5-star from Barsha. I was able to pick up and finish the book on the same day. It starts off a bit slow, but picks up pace extremely fast. And regardless of how many crime shows you've seen or your inner Sherlock, the final twist was unimaginable and absolutely amazing. It's about an open and shut case of a wife who kills her husband that becomes more and more complicated as you read it.
If it's an open and shut case, why is it more complicated?
I think that's why I was very confused of reading that. Like, it's open and shut, but it's complicated.
Right.
Oh, I'm interested.
I know. I love that they're talking about this like big twist, and we've talked about how you try to be smarter than the author, but it sounds like this one may get us.
Right.
But
all right. So on the other side, did you find any reviews that were lower?
yeah, I got David P. gave it 2 stars and said, "Sorry, couldn't finish it. I gave it 100 pages. That's a decent amount.
Yeah.
The story and characters just didn't hold my attention. Not enough conflict soon enough. Too much of a slow burn for me. I guess I like a book that has a thriller structure, or at least closer to one. For me, I need conflict on every page that pulls the reader through the text." So it sounds like David didn't get to the big twisteroo at the end.
Well, I think that mine said that it was slow at the beginning.
Right.
So, and then I also found a 1-star.
Okay.
There weren't very many.
No.
It was hard to find a few, but there were. I mean, there were some, and they said from Shannon, "I picked this book up because the reviews were very high, but there was nothing about this book I enjoyed."
Wow. Nothing.
The first half was boring and mediocre character development, and then the apparent climax was very predictable. I don't understand why so many people enjoyed this read. Maybe it's just my opinion, but not a fan.
I'm fascinated because everybody else has said it was not predictable.
Right.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, only 1% of the 4.17 were 1 stars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not one of our highest rating books, but it's still a 4.17 overall. And so for 2 million almost 3 million ratings, it's pretty good.
I think we're definitely going to have to post a question to see, once people have read this book, Did you see it coming? Was it predictable? Like, keep in mind. So if you're about to read this book, I want to know, like, what page, what chapter, how far into the book until you predicted what was going to happen.
Or did you ever?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Did it blindside you, or did you see it coming?
Right, because it sounds like our listeners that reviewed it didn't see it coming.
Right. And Danny Beth said even for the most clever readers.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about the silent patient. When do you appreciate silence the most?
Well, as a mom,
Whenever possible.
it's rare, but I do appreciate it when I'm reading. Of course, I am one who really needs to get into the story, like almost like I'm one of the characters, so I can envision what's going on. So silence is great. Then I also just enjoy silence, being outside and like just enjoying that, oh, it's beautiful out here. When do you enjoy it?
I would say whenever I can get it. I definitely enjoy some me time. I mean, I fill the silence with music. I think my definition of silence is just not kid noise, probably. Like being the overstimulated person when like the dryer's going and a kid is trying to tell you a story and something's on the stove and you're hearing all of these things. Like, silence, please. Just, can we turn two of the things off? We always have the TV on in the background and it drives me bonkers because it's just another level of sound. I'm usually pretty good at like drowning things out, but man, silence is a blessing.
Right, that's true. And so then, do you believe silence can be more powerful than words in certain situations?
Yes.
Why?
Definitely. I think you can communicate a lot with silence. I think that's also why I'm really intrigued by this story, because it seems like the main character is silent. So how is the story being told? That's what I'm curious to get into. What do you think? Silence important?
I think the silent treatment, that is powerful. You can say a whole lot with saying nothing at all. In the way that we can hold ourselves as far as our body language, that can speak volumes. And so in silence, there's so much good, but there's also so much bad.
Part of that, let me pry a little more, but when we're talking about the body language and the silence, I think we've both been, maybe not accused, but it's been attributed to us that our body language is maybe not so approachable.
Right.
But should we be speaking up?
Maybe.
To counter the silence?
Well, and I mean, not to say like that maybe we have that resting face, but in that like, what could I say? Because I also sometimes get in the tunnel vision of I'm in this moment of what I'm doing. And so maybe I'm giving off that aura of move out of my way. And apparently I am.
Right.
Because I'm not very approachable. And so making an effort, maybe that would be helpful. What do you think?
I don't know. I think that's just like the age-old question, or the thing that I wrestle with often. Definitely trying to remember that my face is telling something, whether I want it to or not. But I think actually reaching out and talking to people makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I think so too. I think people appreciate that. And that's kind of like why I love when our listeners interact with us and give us recommendations. Like to me, like being able to communicate with them, even if not in person, is really fun. And it's really exciting to get deeper and understand why we are the way we are.
So don't be silent.
I try not to be. I talk a lot.
I know.
And so do you.
I know. Our episodes just keep getting longer and longer, it seems. Have you noticed that?
Yes. And not on purpose. It's just that we have so much to talk about because we're so excited about what we're providing. And so it's cool to be in this moment. So
I'm excited to be doing this with you. So thanks for not being silent.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Keep reading.
Keep ranting.
And remember, you're so approachable.
Thank you.
Okay, the episode is over. Get reading.
But before you go, like, review, and subscribe.
Turn on notifications to get the alert when the full episode drops.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook to see what we're reading next and join the conversation.
We're so excited to have you on board.